Hello everybody, dear friends, dear followers, clients, of course, astrology lovers. Here is Olga with the weekly horoscope with the analysis of the transit planetary aspects for the week of November 13 to November 19. I call this video the rebirth of Phoenix, or the darkest night is just before the dawn. We will go through a very difficult time. The upcoming week will not be easy for, I would say, all of us, most of us, for all of us. I will start with something positive, and I will finish finish my video with the positive aspects, because there are some harmonious aspects, especially in the middle of the week. The most tense, the most complicated situation is expected by the end of the week, during the new moon, but I will get to this a little bit later. Let me start with the description of the background aspect that I mentioned already the last time. Actually, we will have, as I promised, we'll start with something positive. We have one background aspect that will be exact on December 3rd. This is I talk about the trine, Jupiter in Scorpio, Neptune in Pisces. The planets are getting closer during the entire month of November, and the trine will be exact on the 3rd of December. But in any case, since the planets are slow, it takes time for them to form, the aspect. Even before the exact date of the aspect, we feel the impact of the trine, Jupiter Neptune, during almost the entire month of November. So I repeat myself from the last video that the trine Jupiter Neptune defines a very good time for philosophical and religious research. It raises the level of education. It fosters the broadening of spiritual horizons and of our cultural vision. It is a fruitful moment for musicians, poets, artists, public figures, preachers, as well as for travelers and researchers. It's a time for deeper understanding of religious, spiritual, and mystical issues. Also, it's a good next 2-3 weeks is a good time for new projects in music, art, psychology. Yes, but this is the background aspect. We may not feel its impact on us if the transit Jupiter and Neptune don't form aspects with other planets in our birth chart. So please always put the transit chart on your natal chart, okay, in order to trace the personal impact of the transits on you, on your situation. I will repeat the third time and the last time the same information that I mentioned the last time, the time before. We spoke the last time about the importance of the month of November 2019. What is the particularity of the month of November? Do you remember? I hope that you do. I remind you that we are right now, since the full moon of November 4th until the new moon of November 19th, we are situating now ourselves in the middle point between the couple of two eclipses of August 2017 and the upcoming couple of eclipses of January-February 2018. This is the time when the themes or the subjects of the eclipses of August are overlapping progressively with the subjects or the themes of the future eclipses, that of winter 2018. What is the importance of the middle point, of which corresponds to the month of November? Because it's considered normally that during the period of the period of 12 months, one calendar year, is marked by 4 points of power. That is, those short periods when significant events occur or life tendencies change. And these strategic points are firstly the eclipses, which occur in pairs with the interval of 2 weeks. So 2 weeks before both eclipses is called the corridor of eclipses. So each 6 months, right, we leave eclipses, and the other 2 points of the 4, the strategic points, are such phases of the moon as the new moon and the full moon, but not of each month, but the new and the full moon that occur on equal distance from each of these 2 pairs of eclipses. I hope it's clear for you. So eclipses in August, and we lived them 3 months ago. Now we are at the middle point, and in 3 months we will see. We will meet. We will experience. We will live. Yes, the eclipses of winter 2018. The full moon of November 4th revived, at least in my case, the subject of the eclipses of August, and especially in the full moon and the new moon of November 18th will give us a hint about the subjects of the upcoming eclipses. And that's why most likely in the upcoming week, and this is the last week, of this strategic period of the middle point. In the upcoming week, we will be brought to live more troubles, complications in our affairs than usually. We can simply be in the depressed mood, for example, or we have some anxiety, anxious, emotional states. For some of us, if not for all of us, the month of November may be a turning point, especially near the full moon of November 4th and near the new moon of November 18th. But the new moon, upcoming new moon, will probably be the main cause of the possible turbulence. And it is precisely during the upcoming week that we will experience one of the most difficult periods of the year that is coming to an end. We will have to dive under the surface of the reality to manage crisis and complex transformations, and to face destruction or rebirth, revival of existing aspects of our life. I remind you that at this moment we have 3 planets in Scorpio: Sun, Jupiter, and Venus. That's why the energy of the sign of Scorpio are very intense. We feel them, these energies around us, everywhere. The concentration of Scorpio energies means that the questions of finances, of financial relations with other people, of exchanges of resources, the questions of a restructuring of usual reality, and the issues of a resolution of contradictions in our relations with others will be in the focus of our attention during at least the upcoming week. Okay. During the next 7 days, we will most vividly feel the negative traits of character of other people and the imperfection of the world in general, which will make us irritable, provoking destructive psychological conditions and reactions. But in fact, as any psychologist would tell you, that all that we don't accept and all that we reject in ourselves is a distorted and a repressed part of our own personality. And the surrounding reality and other people in this difficult time become a mirror that shows these characteristics of our personality that we don't accept, that we don't that we reject. So be careful with the mean words, with the mean attitude, with the attitude that can hurt people that you love, because we will be definitely pretty sarcastic, in our mood, in our way to communicate with the people around us. And a certain ending point of this period corresponds to a very difficult and even dramatic new moon in Scorpio of November 18th. I'm getting closer to this, and I will describe it in a while in details, the new moon. I would like to mention two major aspects of the beginning of the week. You remember that I spoke the last time about Venus in Scorpio, which is getting closer to Jupiter, and they will form conjunction on Monday, November 13th, and the conjunction. This conjunction will be formed in the context of the decreasing phase of the lunar cycle, of course, the last week of the lunar month. The conjunction of Jupiter is basically potentially very positive aspect, because Jupiter symbolizes expansion, increasing of possibilities and opportunities, right? Abundance. But it has a little bit negative, a risk of a negative scenario. You know, I mentioned this last time, I'll repeat myself. If we are ready to move to deeper levels in relationship with other people, with partners who are important to us, many undesirable scenarios in the partnership can be corrected. So potentially we can get a very generous reward for the work done on the internal and external levels, a reward in the form of expansion of connections, contacts, in the form of the access to resources, in the form of opportunities to realize our main desires in the field of love and finances. But remember that Jupiter is very pretentious. It promises a lot. That's why there is a destructive possibility of development of the situation, destructive variant option. The extent of our claims towards people and the outside world can increase in the geometric progression and can cause problems in finances and in love if we don't control our inner contradictions, Venus and Scorpio, if we lose the sense of limits in our motivation, if we get engaged in toxic relationships, Venus and Scorpio, in expenses and debts that do not correspond to our capacities, also Venus and Scorpio, we run the risk of experiencing losses and disappointments in the sphere of love and money. Remember about this danger of conjunction Venus-Jupiter, okay? Now, the week also begins with the difficult aspect Mercury in Sagittarius square to Neptune in Pisces. Mercury in Sagittarius, topics of studies, of information exchange, of contacts, communication, travels, long distance trips, topics that are important to us, will be realized in the context of errors, confusion, unclear circumstances, and losses because of the square with the Neptune. Plans and perspectives which will be drawn at this time will be overly optimistic. So Monday 13th plus minus 2 days, it is a period of false information, deception, and illusions. Precaution must be taken with the new people, then it can be unreliable. Liars, we can meet liars, you know. Filter everything you hear. Scams can become more active, fraudulent schemes and shima, yes. Plans can be introduced. Rumors can be will be spreading easily, you know. So be careful about the information that you receive and that you transmit to other people. These days can bring problems with the transportation also, because Mercury symbolizes transport, means of communication with the office equipment. We have to be careful, of course, while driving, and alcohol abuse can have unpleasant consequences. The risk of food and drug poisoning increases during the square Mercury-Neptune, which will be exact on Monday, November 13th. Now, let's talk about our new moon. I kept two harmonious aspects for the end of the video. The aspect that will be formed in the middle of the week that will allow us to breathe a little bit before we front the end of the week, the new moon. So I will keep these two aspects for the end, because I promise you to end the video on a positive in the positive mood. Okay, so let's talk about the new moon. The new moon in Scorpio in the 26.19 degree of Scorpio on Saturday, November 18th, 6:42 a.m. New York time. This new moon will bring a lot of changes. As any new moon, which is the end of the lunar month, of the lunar cycle. It's a time of drawing conclusions, a time of looking backward and just, summarizing what we did and what we didn't do correctly during the past lunar month. So during the upcoming new moon, we will see how we have managed to improve and to balance the processes of mutual resource exchanges of resources, between us and the world, how we managed to destroy what hinders our progress, our moving forward, how we have learned to interact with the world and people on deeper layers. These are the lessons of the test that we have to pass during the new moon in Scorpio. We have to admit, to be honest with ourselves and to admit whether we learned these lessons or not. If we succeeded in these tasks, the days that precede the new moon, we will solve complex financial problems as well as complex situations in finances and love sphere. As a reward for our work, we will have access to the resources that we need to continue our journey. If you failed in these tasks, then the last days of the lunar cycle we will face losses, dramatic and very unpleasant situations and critical situations. Why this new moon will be, I want to dramatize, but we have to be honest. Yes, we astrologers, we have to interpret the meaning of the transits correctly. Okay, when the aspects are positive, I'm always very joyful and optimistic. Why this new moon can be used to be dramatic and complicated for us? The change of the lunar cycles, the end of the previous lunar month and the beginning of the new lunar month, will occur in the context of the square Mars-Pluto. The aspect will be exact on Sunday, November 19th. Mars is in Libra and is in detriment, is a very weak position for Mars. And therefore, Mars is weak and it's embittered and dangerous. And in addition to the weak position of Mars forms square to Pluto in Capricorn. The time of the new moon will be extremely dangerous for us, controversial, perhaps creating risky situations for our wallet, especially, and our health. What should we do? Of course, we have the possibilities to minimize, the negative impact of the new moon and of this square Mars-Pluto. We must not provoke others to aggression or to be the source of aggression ourselves. It is necessary not to create ourselves situations of danger and risk for ourselves. These days, we risk to be objects of physical or mental abuse, demonstrating aggression and cruelty to others, even if we are not inclined to such behavior. If you have square Mars in square to Pluto in your birth chart, okay, the transit square Mars-Pluto, even if it's in different signs that in your chart, will provoke aggressive behavior in your case. If somebody doesn't have a square Mars-Pluto in his birth chart, this transit may be played softer for you. So always check if you have similar aspects of the similar nature in your personal birth chart. So that's why, because of the square Mars-Pluto, the ending of the old phase and the beginning of the new phase, new stage, new lunar month, will be radical, hard, harsh, uncompromising, accompanied by excessive tension and bringing the restructuring of reality, the change. Why? Because it's the new moon, it's the beginning of a new lunar cycle, and because the new moon corresponds to the middle point between two pairs of eclipses. Okay, that's why this new moon is particular. And the transition will be the transition will be associated with a large-scale transformation, or in the more positive variant, dramatic transformation is positive, less positive, dramatic crisis in relationships, partnership, career, and work. So The constructive option of the evolution of the situation after the new moon will be the following. We will have to cut without compromise will be the parts of our past that we don't need anymore in our lives. We will have to destroy existing stability and established scenarios to make definite decisions, after which there will be no way back. It won't be impossible to turn back. The least constructive option is the following. If certain aspects of our habitual reality that we are used to can collapse, escaping from our control, and this will be the result of the maximum escalation of contradictions and accumulated problems that we did not resolve. Okay? And in this case, the liberation of the space of our lives for something new will be forced, more radical, and therefore particularly dramatic. So whether we accept changes while we work on contradictive and complex, difficult situations, confrontations, and we just transform the existing situations, and we go to another level of comprehension of these situations. Okay, if we refuse to work on these issues, the situations will be they will collapse, and this process will be forced, and we will to be dramatic for us. It may seem to us like the end of the world. Okay. Yes, as I said before, the new moon of November 18th is the midpoint between the last solar eclipse of August 2017 and the future solar eclipse of February 2018. It will be a threshold of the way, on the way to future perspectives, and in order to cross this threshold, you must undertake serious reforms. And in other words, the new moon of the 18th of November has an extreme potential, which gives us the possibility of great restructuring, after which our reality will change radically and irrevocably. Something will leave our life forever, and something new will emerge, and its existence will start from a blank page. So if you look at the new moon, not as at a just new moon that occurs each month, but if you look at it as the midpoint between two pairs of eclipses, here, if you focus on this precisely on this function of this coming new moon, we can also draw two variants of scenarios. The destructive variant is the following. The basis of a new stage of our life, I mean these 3 upcoming months before the next solar eclipses, lunar and solar eclipses of winter 2018. The basis of the new stage of our life will contain the dramatic contradictions and destructive processes in everything related to partnership, relationships, social ties, professional activity, social status. In this case, we will meet its consequences in January, February 2018. If you don't turn the page now, if you don't close the door of the eclipses of August 2017, these unsolved issues will emerge once again, in 3 months. In 3 months, yes. The constructive variant is the following. A new stage of our life can begin for us as the time of concentrated activity, of great force, strength, which will be directed towards the transformation of reality in the direction that we need. In this case, during the next lunar month, to start with, we will be able to make changes that will be moved to a new scale in 3 months, because in January, February 2018, these changes will manifest themselves fully through new major projects and great opportunities. In any case, in the second half of the week, we need maximum self-control to cope with the enormous tension, and in order to channel our energy into the constructive way, channel to direct this energy. The probability of conflicts, critical situations, and emergencies will be very high, and especially from November 16th to 18th, it will be this risk will be at its maximum. So these days, the end of the week, it's worth focusing on completing past cases, on resolving past problems and issues. It's better to decrease, of course, the rhythm and the scale of external activities. Don't do sports, otherwise you will hurt yourself. This is already proven at any new moon, and especially at this new moon. We have to avoid risks and potentially dangerous situations for us and for other people. Near the new moon on near the Saturday, November 18th, the content of the unconscious will manifest itself, especially through dreams and signs. Pay attention to your dreams, and these days it's worth focusing on some hints or signs from external signs, what people advise you indirectly, because this especially dreams, yes, meditation will be successful. Answers to the questions that are important to us can take different forms. We will also feel a certain inevitability in of the events, like our inability to have the events under control. Also, for those who practice maybe magical rituals, who are familiar with magics, it's not recommended to engage in magic rituals on November 18th. Even the most harmless rituals can give very strong effects with unpredictable consequences. During any eclipse, during any new moon, full moon, which correspond to the middle point between two couples of eclipses, and during any new and full moon, the portal is opening, and the effect of the magic rituals is more powerful than during other days. So this is what I wanted to tell you about the new moon. I know that it's a little bit dark, and the information is not very positive, but we have to face this time. We have to work it out correctly, and I promise you, we will survive. We will wake up from this the darkest night, because the night is the darkest before the dawn, right? And as I promised you, we will turn the page after the end of the coming week. We will turn the page. We will face the next 3 months. Will bring us closer to the eclipses of winter 2018. So there's something different, another story, a new life. Okay, as I promised, I will finish with the positive, 2 harmonious aspects of the middle of the week. That will allow us to breathe a little bit before the dramatic full new moon in Scorpio on Saturday. On November 16th, which is Thursday, Venus in Scorpio is in trine with Neptune. Plus minus 2 days, the aspect is in its orb. This aspect stimulates intuition, sensitivity, romance, and the ability to capture the vibration of other people. If you talk about business, because Venus symbolizes money, right? These days can be successful for those, first of all, who work with in direct contact with the customers, presenting products of a company or its services of the company. These days are also favorable to secret business, secret work, or work in solitude, in loneliness, isolated work. Contacts with art, of course, at this time can enrich our perception of the world, can give us new impressions, which will help to find creative approaches to our business, to solve problems to problems in our business, and to creative, way to solve these problems. The dreamness that accompanies this aspect can immerse sensitive people in the world of dreams, and it risks to lead to a dangerous distance, to lead these people to a dangerous distance from reality. But of course, for those who are in who practice create artistic professions, it's a gorgeous aspect for you. It's a good time for secret encounters, meetings. It's also excellent moment to harmonize personal relationships or partnerships in which we live a discord. Of course, it's a moment of romantic rendezvous and dating. So take advantage of Thursday. And on Friday, November 17th, just before the new moon, Mercury will be in sextile with Mars. And during this aspect, contacts will be more active. We will make new contacts easily. The energies of the sextile Mercury-Mars will help to focus on the set of many tasks that we have to do at the same time. The chance to successfully defend our position in the debates and discussions is increased, and of course if you go for a business trip, it will be successful. But once again, if we set up appointments on Thursday or Friday, these two aspects, trine Venus, Neptune, and sextile Mars, Mercury, will help us. But here we talk about something, the finalizing. We should not start something new because we are getting to the new moon. Yes, why we should not stay at home on Thursday and Friday? Why not to go? Our love doesn't stop, but we have to focus on the finalization, completion. Okay, with the new life will begin on next Monday. So I promised you I finished with something positive, and once again, extremely strategic, extremely important moment, the upcoming week, the new moon in Scorpio on Saturday, November 18th. I wish to all of you a lot of luck, patience, courage. Stay wise, take care of yourself, and I hope this information was useful. I'll talk to you very soon the next week. Goodbye.